Welcome back, everybody, to the Cover the Front podcast. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Steve Dubel, the commander of 215 Cavalry Squadron, and I have with me today my chief instructor, Sergeant First Class Garcia, and then my head cavalry instructor, Sergeant First Class Thompson. And today we are going to be talking about what it means to be a 19 Charlie, or what it means to be a 19 Delta, and what kind of training that we do here. So, guys, thanks for joining me here today. And if you could just briefly introduce yourselves before we get going. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Good morning. How you doing? Sergeant First Class Garcia, Chief Instructor for the 19 Charlie here in 215 and 194th Armored Brigade, sir.
Awesome.
Morning, sir, and morning, viewers. My name is Sergeant First Class Thompson. I am the Chief Instructor for the 19 Delta POI. I've currently been in the Army 14 and a half years, and it's great to be here this morning, sir.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So, Sergeant Garcia, we'll start with you. Can you talk to us a little bit about what it means to be a 19 Charlie? It's the newest MOS that we have within the 19 series. So tell us a little bit about what a 19 Charlie is.
Yes, sir. So a 19 Charlie is a Bradley Crewman fighting from a platform, which is a Bradley fighting vehicle. It is a vehicle run by three members. You got a driver, you got your gunner, and you got the vehicle commander who runs the vehicle. But really what it comes down to is changing it a little bit from being a 19 Delta and reconnaissance aspect, now fighting from a vehicle, delivering our infantry partners to the battlefield, to the objective, and just whatever the mission demands, really. But we're more honed on the vehicle, the maintenance, the capabilities of maintaining it and fighting from it, and providing that extra capability as a cavalryman, sir.
Awesome. Okay, Sergeant Thompson, over to you. What is a 19 Delta and what makes them unique on the battlefield?
So with the 19 Delta, sir, as my counterpart just said, we can do the same thing as the Bradley Crewman, but where we really shine at is on the ground, being able to provide that real-time reconnaissance for the commander. And when we talk about a 19 Delta, we're talking about he is or she is the eyes and the ears for the commander to be able to make in real-time decisive decisions so that commander can move his follow-on forces so we can accomplish the mission at the end of the day, sir.
Awesome. Okay, so that's kind of the overview of what those two MOSs do. Can you tell us a little bit about like what a career path in each one would look like, starting with the Charlies?
Yes, sir. So they'll come here obviously for basic training, and then advanced individual training, which is where we teach them how to become a Bradley Crewman. From there, after the 18-week, they will go to their unit, where they will more than likely be a driver and be heavily embedded into the maintenance piece and ensuring that vehicle works for the crew. Right there, they will go through the ranks, and they'll have the opportunity to probably go to some schools, develop themselves as the Bradley Commander's course, et cetera, and continue to progress to the ranks. Later on, they would probably become a gunner, so they're more embedded into the fighting aspect of the vehicle, and as they progress to their career, they will become a vehicle commander, more of the maneuver piece of the mission, sir.
Okay, and so if I'm a new scout, what can I expect in my career timeline? What's that look for us?
So for a Cavalry Scout, sir, it's kind of similar to a Bradley Crewman, but I would say more specifically, we're able to either go immediately from OSUT, going to the ground, or being able to go into a mounted position. More specifically, as a private first class, you can expect to be a member of a dismount team or a squad. Or on the other end, if you're on a mounted element, you can expect to be a driver right away. After you have fulfilled these positions within, I would say, anywhere from 2 to 3 years, you could be looking at being a team leader once you progress through the ranks of specialists. Now, if we look at the mounted side, as far as a specialist, you're going to go in that gun seat, whether it is a gun truck or whether it is on a Bradley. Once we have fulfilled those positions, we're looking at maybe 4 to 5 years. We're looking at you being embedded or integrated into the NCO Corps at that time, where you will become either a truck commander or a Bradley commander in charge of that vehicle. From there, we're looking at senior leadership. Some of the schools that can really separate you are going to be, and if I go back, we're talking about EIA, Excellence in Armor.
Yep.
Right away, Excellence in Armor is going to separate you from your peers once you get embedded to your platoon.
And that's a program that you can do right here, start with right here in OSUT, and then also in your first units.
Yes, that is a program that you can do right here. And then once we get to the unit level, we're looking at expert soldier badge qualifications. Yep. Being able to accomplish that is a great monumental accomplishment within your Army career. That's something that too many don't accomplish, but it is a prestigious accomplishment.
Absolutely.
I would definitely recommend for any soldier, whether you are a newly promoted soldier or a seasoned soldier, to strive to accomplish that accomplishment. Once we get done with that, we're looking at maybe troop schools, being a unit armor, going to air assault, things of that nature to further separate yourself. And that's kind of the glide path, sir.
Yeah, and then as we talk schools in general, right, and some of the big ticket schools moving forward, right, on the Charlie side and the Delta, right, we have the Bradley Master Gunner, the Bradley Leader course, the Maintainer course, right, and then specifically on the Delta side, we have the Scout Leaders course and then the Cavalry Leaders course, which sets you well above your peers and sets you up for a great career path moving forward. But the schools are important, right, and we invest in each one of our soldiers to make sure that they have those opportunities. So now that we better understand what the careers look like, Charlies and Deltas largely serve in the same formations. What are some of the duty stations that I might find myself if I'm a new Charlie or a Scout?
So I'll start off, sir. So for a Cavalry Scout, we're looking at the major installations of, Fort Carson, Colorado, Fort Hood, Texas, Fort Bliss, located in Texas again, Fort Drum. And that's why I would say that's where we kind of start to separate the Charlies from the Deltas. You're going to find the Deltas at Fort Drum versus the Charlies. And that's just some of the major bases the Deltas can expect to be stationed at right away. And then if we talk about Oconus, we're looking at Grafenwehr Vilsec also. They can be stationed there. Vilsec, so we have two sides to Grafenwehr Vilsec. So we have the 173rd side and the 199th, which a lot of Deltas are stationed at if they're airborne qualified usually. And then if you're not airborne qualified, you usually go to 2CR, which is located on Vilsec.
Yeah. And some of those opportunities might be truncated here shortly with how we're reposturing a bit with the R-Struck. But Deltas certainly have a lot of opportunities to serve across the board. And the same with the Charlies. Most of those same locations can come through with Fort Stewart, Fort Benning, Fort Bliss. There's a lot of opportunities for Charlies to serve in the ABCT formations. So now we know what the career path kind of looks like. Let's go back to the training focused here. So currently we're at 18 weeks for the 19 Charlie, 22 weeks for the Deltas, although that might change. What are the differences between the two training POIs?
Yes, sir. So I'll start for the 19 Charlie. So for the 19 Charlies, when we go to advanced individual training, AIT, so we have a week 11 and week 18, right? And we start really focusing on that week 11 on learning the Bradley, going to the motor pool, which is where the Bradleys are housed. And we focus a lot on maintenance, learning how to operate the Bradley, touching all the buttons, understand how everything works. Because as a Bradley crewman, you got to be the expert of that vehicle.
Sure.
As we move to week 12, then now we're getting to driving the Bradley. We're going to go out and we're going to drive it in usual and unusual conditions. Usual meaning that we're going to do regular drive, understanding how to stop, turn, etc. And then unusual conditions, we're going to incorporate some obstacles that are going to give that driver more confidence as he's maneuvering that Bradley. We move to week 13 of that POI. We're going to go into our tactical phase. That's where we're going to learn all our classes from operations and graphics, our radios, how to essentially plan around the mission for the Bradley. Then we move to week 14. That's when we introduce our weapon systems. We talk about our 25 mic, our Bradley main gun, our 240 Charlie, our tow, how to take them apart, upload them, do everything to troubleshoot it to make sure that we're proficient at that. Even though we're focusing heavily on the maintenance and driver piece, we also, as a Bradley crewman, need to encompass the entire Bradley aspect. And then we're also going to start our GST training during week 14, gunnery skills tasks. It's a set of tasks that every Bradley crewman is responsible for knowing and executing to perfection to ensure that they entice to that crew as they come together. Week 15, we're going to test those gunnery skills tests, and then we're going to move to our live fire exercise. Our live fire exercise, we're going to have the trainees shoot the 25 mic and the 240 Charlie in a live range shooting at targets so they can get the feeling of what it feels like to be behind the gunner seat. So when they get to that position, they kind of have some familiarity with that. And then our week 16 is a culminating event, sir. That's when we bring everything together from maintenance, tactical, identifying vehicles, reacting to drones, or everything that the mission encompasses that they learn from week 11 to week 16 encompasses in that 196-hour training exercise that they bring together mission style, sir.
Okay. And then, Sergeant Thompson, you want to talk a little bit about the ground reconnaissance training that the Deltas get?
Yes, sir. So, like my counterpart just said, we pretty much almost have similar glide paths, but the biggest difference, like you just stated, sir, is the ground POI that we cover. It is very essential to the building blocks for the trainees because this is where they start learning the basic fundamentals of what reconnaissance really is and the tasks that are associated or that correlate with our overall mission set. With that being said, we're looking at how to execute the different forms of reconnaissance while understanding formations and movements, understanding the TLP process. And that's one thing that I would say that we do great here in 215 is the planning aspect.
Okay.
We have these trainees very involved from the op order, understanding graphics, how to mission plan, how to understand what the PL is actually briefing in those acronyms. So when they do get to the unit level, they can jump right in, and the integration process, as far as when they get ready to execute, is very easy for them. Because as we all know, and I can talk about from my own personal experience, when you start hearing all these acronyms, LTIOV, and you start hearing different reconnaissance acronyms, you can get really lost and really quick within the op order process. And that is very catastrophic to the mission, because if that scout does not understand his mission, he cannot accomplish his mission at the end of the day. So I think that's something that we do very well here from a foundational aspect. Also, we start teaching these guys field craft. If you come into any type of comms, lines of comms issues, how to build field expedient antennas. That's one thing I would say nowadays you really don't see a lot of scouts doing. But here we're training that we're training that skill set, and we're showing them the difference between being able to know how to do it and not know how to do it, and it can change the overall end state on the battlefield. Having these skill sets, sir.
Absolutely. Okay, so it is critical for us to be able to adapt our training to the battlefield conditions that we're observing real time, right? And so we put a lot of emphasis on making sure that our training is most up to date to ensure soldier success on the battlefield. What are some of the more recent changes that we've implemented within the POI for the 19 Charlies and Deltas?
Yes, sir. So for the 19 Charlies piece, we started taking here recently a turn for UAS, the drones. Being able to, we introduce our trainees to what does it look like, what are some of the capabilities of the drones, what do they do as we continue to encounter these things overseas, and we're learning from the war in Ukraine. So we're teaching them what to look for, what do they look like, what are the capabilities, what they can do to us, and how they can see us. We have certified UAS instructors here that teach them those things and actually allow them to see from the instructor perspective, what does that look like and what they see as instructors when they're flying over, so the trainees get that first-hand knowledge of what do they look like on the camera of UAS. So we have incorporated that. We also incorporated how to react to it. So not only identifying it, seeing it, but how to react to it. What scanning techniques are we going to use to be able to detect these drones early so we can react. Then we teach them how to react to it and essentially continue to maintain eyes and follow up. And that's huge for us. As you said, sir, we continue to evolve around what our battlefield looks like, what our peers or what our enemies are doing, and then we bring it here home of the cavalry, so we can change those things. And when these trainees leave here, they have that experience. They understand what a UAS looks like. They hear a specific noise, so they see a specific light and limited visibility, and they'll be like, wait a minute, I've been training this. This is probably what I should do or how I should treat this or pass it on, whatever their training that we're continually evolving, sir. So that's been a great addition to our POI, and I think it's making our trainees more lethal and better prepared for any outcomes there.
Okay, and then Sergeant Thompson, almost double for the dismounted side of the house with the scouts, with the drone training being critical to success.
Yes, sir. So pretty much, I won't even echo what he said, but we're doing the same thing on the Delta side as the Charlie with reaction to UAS. As we have seen the war on Ukraine and Russia, how pivotal and how paramount being able to utilize UAS and counter UAS tactics is within today's environment. But I would say changing directions, one thing for the Delta that we have incorporated is the cadre being squad leaders and allowing the trainees to act as team leaders and members of that team. So we're taking it a notch above what we used to do or what we were used to doing. and they're getting that real-time feedback, what they're going to encounter on the line. So they're getting those commands, they're getting those fire commands from an experienced cadre, and what it's going to sound like during their regular platoon sticks and section sticks once they get integrated into force comm units, sir.
No, that's absolutely true, and that's been a great change in effectiveness. Okay, guys, the number one question that we get all the time is if I am a prospective recruit looking to either become a 19 Delta or a 19 Charlie, how should I prepare myself? What is the number one thing, if you could give advice to somebody out there who's thinking of join the 19 series, what should they do?
Sir, from my perspective, the number one advice that I would give, a lot of people are going to join the MOS and they're going to want to do a ton of research and try to learn about the MOS.
Yeah.
I would honestly say hold on the research and actually learn from our awesome instructors here. What I would say is get yourself physically fit. That's number one.
Okay.
You got to show physically fit. We're encountering a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but a significant amount of people get here and they kind of have that awakening of like, oh, snap, this is hard. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's physically demanding because your job is physically demanding. So physically fit, be ready to go, be motivated. But I would say the number one advice is physically fit. Everything else from your job, your AIT, Bradley, 19 Delta, you will learn here. We have one of the best instructors, I would say, and you will definitely learn that job here. So focus on physical fitness first.
Okay.
I'll echo that. Physical fitness, once again, we see it day one during the Thunder Run, sir. A lot of these young men and young ladies are just out of shape. So I know for me, going back to when I joined, I was in the delayed entry program, and we had to do physical training on every Thursday with our recruiters. So that helped me out a lot. So I would say, I don't know if they're still doing that, but if they're not, just take the initiative and get yourself in shape. Really concentrate on the cardiovascular aspect of your training. And then what I would say is understand when you get here, this is an assessment. You're going to have good days. You are going to have bad days, but you have to learn how to balance it out. And that's just not the Army. That's anything in life. Don't get here and expect it to be, just peaches and cream. Like, this is the United States Army at the end of the day, just being blunt. And we handle business as accordingly. So just understand that. Like, it's going to be very rewarding, but some days are going to be challenging, and that's okay. Anything that's worthwhile in life, you're going to have challenges along your path, but just stay in there. It's the process, is an assessment. We want the best of the best within our organizations. So that's what I would give them, sir.
Awesome. Okay, team. Well, that's really kind of wraps up our overview of what a 19 Charlie and what a 19 Delta is. Thanks again to Sergeant Garcia and Sergeant Thompson for coming in and sharing some lessons learned from our top instructors here. But as always, if you have any questions on what we covered in the video, hit us up on social media. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.